welcome to Radio Sensation. I'm your host, Dan, and on this episode, I am going to be taking a look at a series of books called Blab World. Join me, won't you? Okay, so I've done a video on one of the first versions of Blab magazine, which was from the 80s, I guess it was, and I did a video of this newest version of Blab magazine that just came out like the last year, which is one of my favorite magazines right now. It's got tons of great stuff in it. I recommend this highly. This is the premiere issue of the newest version. So I thought, why not take a look at the version of the magazine that came in between? And this one's called Blab World. And you can see they're hardcover books in format. This is number one. I have 2 volumes. I think those were the only volumes that came out. And the cover by Shag, the guy who does a lot of retro and tiki kind of stuff, which was really popular at the time that this book came out. And here's Blab World. Monty Beauchamp, I think is how you say his name. It's founder, editor, designer. And Blab World Volume 1, Number 1. So, you know, I don't even know if that second version, that newest version of Blab is considered Volume 2 or not. Or how they're doing it. And so they have, here in the table of contents, you can see they have comics, which they have listed under sequential art, artist profiles, gag cartoons, and it's one comic by Shag, articles, and then the meat of these books is, the vast majority of this is contemporary artists. And the theme in this issue, they're calling it Art Apocalypse, and it's art about the apocalypse. And I think that some of the artwork in here is produced, it's like details from a larger artwork, because this format is not, when I look at some of this stuff, I'm not familiar with every piece of art in here, which is good. That's why I liked it. But the fact is, I don't think that these are whole pieces sometimes. I think he's doing just bits of it to fit this format. This is the first comic in it. It's great colors and stuff. There's not much to it as far as I'm concerned, but it does look great. And this is these are colored prints, hand-colored prints. And these little posed toys, it looks like my daughters were really into the series of books called I Spy, which were photographs of toys where you're supposed to find stuff. And, they had really heightened or sometimes muted colors. And this kind of reminds me of that a little bit, the toys. Obviously, they're not quite the same as the I Spy books. Here's one of the cartoons. This was a cute one about the neurotic art collector. Here's one of the articles, and the newest version has a great long, article on gorillas and apes in pulp culture. Just fantastic images. This is kind of like that. This is skulls in pulp culture. And, here's the covers of some paperbacks with skulls in it. Now, you'll notice, look how big the type is for this page. I think that, I'm not sure. It feels like, on one hand, it looks better to balance the book that the type is this big. I mean, you could probably print the article that's here with these on like a page and a half. But then you would just have you would just be flipping through pages of these reproductions, which wouldn't bother me. But maybe they just didn't like that. I mean, I think this looks good. Just like I say, it's big print. So here's comic book covers. They're comic book covers pre-code between, like, this is a jungle comic. This isn't even a horror comic, and there's a mountain of skulls there. So all these pre-code horror comics, so many of them had skulls on them. And there's all kinds of World War II ones, that had skulls on them, and detective comics that had skulls on them. The skulls were all over the place on the cover of comics at one point. So just to have one page of a couple. And it's the same with pulps. There were so many skulls on the cover of pulp magazines. There's some more paperbacks. So aside from the fact that they could have easily done an entire book of nothing but these skull motifs, it's fun. It's a fun thing. And it talks about the code ending all the comic book skulls. And I like this, the art in this kind of reminds me of Richard Scala, I guess, a little bit, but it's fun, that kind of thing. It's a cool little comic. There's the shag. There's some of the tiki kind of stuff, that retro vibe he goes for. And like I said, here's the meat of the book, is all this artwork having supposedly some connection to an apocalypse kind of thing. So some of it seems to be kind of tenuous at best, but there's the rapture. This is a fun fun drawing with this, to look at all the little details and stuff. Cops bothering to shoot people crushed under buses, somebody shoving a guy off a building. This guy's helping somebody. These two are having sex on a car in public. Guy helping a dog. Just all kinds of stuff going on. The buildings are melting. This is one of the ones where this obviously seems like just part of the painting. I doubt very much this is the whole thing, but like I said, I don't know it. But it's pretty cool because it definitely looks like one of those old, paintings of the people in hell. It's, kind of very old school painterly. There's a very sci-fi looking explosion, and who knows what all's going on here. You can see the cities and stuff, how small everything is compared to this giant explosion going on. This looks like after the devastation. There's a monkey with butterfly wings. There's a mother owl, and all around her are birds that have caught fire. And this creature, there's this little tree here, and underneath the ground is this. So there's some really cool artwork here. Some really great pieces. Yeah, I mean, look at a bed with spikes on it, on fire, with burning bats and scorpions. Not sure what that has to do with the apocalypse and poor little snakes on fire. Oh, you know me, I like monsters, and this is a fun, weird piece about the beast, Leviathan. It's going to rise up at the end of days. This doesn't look very much like the apocalypse. It's love. It's just love. It's Happy Popsicle, and there he is melting. And animals are licking him. I mean, he does look kind of fierce, and those do look like skulls, but you know, and this design looks a little bit like church windows or something, stained glass or something, but I figure. And here's another version of the beast for the end of times, and spaceships sucking up people and things crashing into the planet of these bird guys. And I guess these motorcyclists here are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And this Spain one really, I mean, there's an atomic bomb going off in the background. There's one of Spain's futuristic cars. Oh, I really like this one too. Yeah, there's some really good stuff. Basement. Here's Sue Ko. You know, she was like a very political cartoonist, painter, etc. This is a pretty gruesome one here. There's a couple weird things in this. So there, the pigs. It's kind of like the pigs have risen up. They're barbecuing a person there. They're burning down a McDonald's over here. They're gutting this guy, cutting him up. This was a weird one though. This pig is sharpening up its knives. This woman is being eaten, and at the same time she's giving birth. But she's giving birth to piglets that this guy looks like he's about to cut up. Wouldn't it be better if she was giving birth to a human baby and it was about to cut him up? Why? I don't get that part. And there's all these people. I guess these pigs are destroying this cage. They should just put the people in there. But that's a pretty fun. I am a sick puppy. These animals are pretty cool. Wow. Really cool, the detail on that. This is one I wish they had zoomed in on even more. Yeah, that's the end of that apocalypse stuff. Here's another little cartoon. I've seen this work before. I don't have a lot of it though, but the life of an artist, and I do like the way this is drawn. It's like a kid's book art. Dealing with depression. This artist having finally passing away. But terrific artwork. Now this, I had seen the cartoonist kayfabe guys had done a video about the weirdo covers, but before they had done that video, this book from 2010, I think this book is from, they did an article on the weirdo covers and how well designed they were, and it's only because of the fact that they were comics and they were crumb and they were kind of, you know, that they didn't get, you know, they weren't nominated for design awards and stuff like that. Not that I think Crumb would have given a hoot about it, but there is no doubt that the weirdo covers were so striking and so wild. I mean, they just great stuff. But this article, you know, they don't even print all the covers in here. That was it. And then propaganda caricature art of World War II. Now, I've seen a lot of different books reproduce a lot of propaganda stuff, anti-Hitler stuff. But there was some stuff in here I had not seen before, and some of it's really, really pretty cool. the there's a Hitler you're supposed to hang. Ball toss game. Toothpick holder, you're supposed to put the toothpicks in his butt and then pluck them out to use them. There he is as a skunk. And there's Mussolini and Hitler and Tojo ashtrays. There's another Hitler skunk. And he put a swastika on him just in case you didn't recognize him. Hitler monkey car mirror dangler. Squealing Hitler piggy bank. Hitler dog carnival novelty. Hitler's mad dog helped destroy him. Honorable Jap. So yeah, Hitler's there's that great. Oh, is that how easy is that to find in here? Oh, yeah, here it is. This is in this new Blab that I love so much. A World War I propaganda poster using a mad ape on it. This one's showing him bound as though he's like King Kong or something. Here's one of a Japanese guy skinned alive and put them on your shelf. Bowling pins. Rat pin cushions. More ashtrays. So, pretty cool. I remember this Elvis fetus comic. This was in a couple different comics back in the day. Some more comic strips. Here's one, the dreaded Mothman of West Virginia. Look at the way they drew the Mothman. The angry village, the angry townspeople going after the Mothman. Ballpoint drawings. So ballpoint pen. Look at that. That is wild. That is wild to get that. I mean, not to mention the cartoonist kayfabes too much, but Jim Rugg famously loves to do those sketchbook drawings in ballpoint pen. And it's amazing what a talented person can do with just ballpoint pens. Another article of this is about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And in this one, Wimpy is one of the 4 horsemen. Go figure. Anyway, that's volume 1. A lot of fun. Here's volume 2. And I really like this drawing. Cannibals of the Stone Age. So I love, he's biting this guy on the back. He's got the club. This guy's biting this guy. This guy's biting the ape. This guy's biting the ape's other arm. That's really fun. Again, it breaks it up with sequential art, artist profiles, cartoons, and these are the 2 gag cartoons. They didn't add the word gag this time. Articles, and then this one is about the hereafter. So it's about death and what might happen afterwards. It's the main theme behind the artwork. Some more fun comics. Again, he has definitely picked stuff to look beautiful in this. Here's the same guy from the first issue doing another comic. A lot of fun. And this is a article. This is one of the articles. This is about a Frank Paul. Say it was the Star Wars album, the first book on the making of Star Wars, that first turned me on to the art of Frank R. Paul. That's what the guy who wrote this article is talking about. And so, it gives a little history about his work. One of the first books I got on that was reproducing magazine and book covers and stuff from the really earlier days, the 30s and 40s and stuff. Well, this is even from the 20s. Was a Frank Paul art book of his covers. That was probably the 80s. There had been a few books before that, but there weren't that many books that were reproducing paperback and magazine covers and things like that. When you wanted to hear about them, you occasionally see stories, mostly in fanzines. So it talks a little bit about the influence his covers had on other people. And you can see how fun they are. I love these aliens. Look, that is such a cool alien. This octopus, attacking the submarine. Look how that is a very funny submarine there. And these aliens, this is fantastic stuff. Very cool. That's a very cool dinosaur for the time period. These spacesuits that these guys are wearing, this doom, as the moon comes to slam into the earth. This is just wild. And remember the alien that was supposed to be from Venus? There was a toy in I think it was the late 60s. There was a series of Martian, outer space alien toys. And one looked just like that. I like this one. When I was a kid, I thought this was just a texture, like maybe they were suction cups or something. And then as I got older and I was going like, maybe they're like eggs, like the frogs who carry their eggs on the back, and maybe, these are the eggs of this thing. I haven't read the actual story, so I don't know. It might not even have to do with anything. A lot of these covers do not have to do with something going on inside the magazines. But there's a great one for the War of the Worlds, H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. Just lots of really great stuff. And the reproduction of them is really great. There's that Venetian-looking guy, too. And there he did, so these are comic book covers. And that's a really famous one for the Marvel. That's the Human Torch, the original, the android that would come and he was a superhero for fighting the Nazis and all kinds of stuff like that. And this artist I wasn't really familiar with. And it's as though it's a collective or something. I think. Where's that's page 29 it starts on. Oh, so Hollow Inside, Elvis Studio. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. But I like this. This reminds me, the color of this and the way these things are, it reminds me of like if Joe Coleman or somebody, Joe Coleman was doing less detailed and obsessive work. Although this is obsessive in its own way. It just doesn't have all those crazy details that Coleman's work does that makes them so disturbing. There's another comic. There's Shag's cartoon. Here's a tribute to Will Elder. It's only by Drew Friedman. It was mostly a way to showcase the drawing. They don't really. This is a single page there. But that's a nice tribute to somebody. And now here's the main part of the book, the art about the hereafter. And there is once again, some spectacular. This is a cool one. This is really cool. I can't remember this guy's name. Whenever I see it, I'm reminded of he looks like a more arty kind of Johnny Ryan or something. But what is that guy's name? Now it's gonna bug me. Damn it! I wish my memory was good enough. I could just remember this stuff offhand. 43, 44, 44. John McNair. And I don't know what else he's done. I have to look and see if I've got anything else around by him. But it's cool. And when I first saw this one, I thought this was Mark Reardon, because it's got that kind of dreamy kind of innocence lost kind of thing, because the character looks like a little kid in a very kind of shocking kind of way, because it looks. It's basically, you can see there's an S there. It's just about Superman. I'm not going to keep flipping back to see what the artist's name is. This reminded me very much. There's a thing in that kids show that I used to watch with my daughters when they were younger called Adventure Time. And some of these images here kind of remind me of that stuff. Very cool. And I do like this. I do like this guy's stuff. This could go along with that article on the skull motifs. Again, very funny. Some very cool stuff. Oh my God. It's very freaky. That's all I'm going to say. There's Reardon. Again, sometimes I just have to wonder if this really has anything at all to do with the afterlife. That's fun. Very cool. Another basement. These might be all the bird people who were in the apocalypse in the last issue. Look like 7-year locusts emerging from their cocoons. So that's the end of that. And here's an article on this person's relationship to the Zap comics and their influence. And boy, I so wanted that giant deluxe version of the Zap comics that Fantagraphics put out, but I absolutely could not afford it, and now it's going for even more. So if I couldn't afford it before, I certainly can't afford it on the aftermarket. I wish Fantagraphics would reissue it again, although it would still be too much. So I don't know what I really want. What I want is to have enough money that I could lay down $700 and not think twice about it. But you know, they put out this giant, you know, deluxe edition with these beautiful, huge pages of this stuff. Now, you know, I didn't like every comic that was in Zap. It was in anthologies, and some of the artists I like better than others. But to see some of this stuff on those huge pages and printed on great paper, because my issues of Zap, and honestly, the first issues of Zap I had, my stepfather discovered them and threw them away. But I rebuilt them over my collection over the years. I got them when I was way younger than I should have to be getting underground. So they were all confiscated, as were my National Lampoons. I didn't hide them well enough. And so they were all tossed. But I have replaced them. I have all the issues now. But you know, this stuff, look at the way this looks on this page. And this is more like what they probably look like in that Fantagraphics. I mean, this deserves the finest of printing jobs. You know, there's some real self-indulgent junk in some of the issues. I think occasionally there's some stuff that's just not, but some of this stuff is just so great, so good. And so, yeah, so this is probably the longest article they did on any of these, issues. And kind of deserves it, if you ask me. And here's Sergio again, with his cute little characters having horrible, mournful lives. Oh, and here's a Dennis Kitchen one. Dennis Kitchen, I wish he had done more comics. I really do. He had a great style. Oh, and the Mothman was done in the first one. This one, the Great Sea Serpent of Brazil. That's a very turtle-like face. Very cool stuff. This is Fred Stonehouse. Some of his work was in the picture part of the. Very cool. Very cool artwork. And here's another. Copper is, you know, did a lot of work. This looks really pretty. I don't usually see his work in color. And it looks pretty cool. I like this little creature they flushed down the toilet. And then he sees the ghost of his dad for some reason. And then the little monster tries to come back up the drain. I don't know what it all means. Anyway, there is a look at these 2 issues of Blab. I don't know how hard they are to get hold of or anything. As you can see, there's not a lot of reading in them, but I think the artwork is great. I'm glad I have them. And like I said, do not snooze on this. I really want this first issue to sell well enough that we get a second issue, okay?